business owners and executives from around the Valley. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for watching Business Leaders. My name is Lance Cardoza. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Flooring Liquidators, for making this episode and other episodes of Business Leaders every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. possible. My guest this week, Bruce Jackson, Jackson Jewelers. Thank you for being on the show, Bruce.
I appreciate you asking me.
Hey, Clovis. You've been a staple of Clovis for many years, and you just celebrated an anniversary. How many years with Jackson?
30 years. Back in April 1st was 30 years.
31st, and we were chatting before the show. You were talking about April 1st. You know,
Yes.
It's just, you don't realize when you're having fun, you love what you're doing, you love your community, and as you do, we'll talk about that. It just goes by fast, right?
Yes, it does. Very fast.
Talk to me about 30 years in Clovis and what that's meant to you.
We just met a lot of nice people, a lot of good people, and a lot of community workers and stuff like that we just get along with really good.
Yes.
And we have a lot of good people working for us and coming into our store.
How important is that, to have good people working for you? Because that's a tough commodity to come by these days.
That is so much nicer going to work when you can do that and know you're going to have good people coming in.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier and nicer.
Yeah, and when you have a good team intercepting those customers that come back,
Yes.
Time and time again, it makes a big difference for them as well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So, when you were in high school, where did you go to high school?
I went to high school in Fresno,
Okay.
McLean.
McLean,
Yes.
all right. And then people don't go through high school going, I want to do this, and they end up doing that. They end up having 2 or 3 different careers, and some have focused on the goal, and that's what they're going to do. What was your goal when you were in high school?
I was actually working for my father,
Yeah.
and I was actually doing deliveries and stuff on like different nuts and peanuts and things like that. And that's
Yeah.
what I was doing.
So distribution,
Yes.
the stores and stuff? Okay, yeah.
And
yes.
then one day I got an idea of going into seeing Edmunds Jewelers to go apply for a job there.
That's a
And
flash from the past.
That's
Edmunds
where I
Jewelers.
started.
That's where you started, Edmunds.
Yes.
And where was that?
That was downtown Fulton Mall
Oh, wow.
in Fresno.
Fulton Mall. Was that there on Fresno Street?
Uh-huh.
I remember,
Tulare
right
Street,
on-
Tulare.
Tulare,
Real close.
right
Uh-huh.
on the corner there.
Tulare Street.
Wow.
Yes.
So Edmunds, and then that started many years in the business of the jewelry business.
Yes, actually I applied for an apprenticeship there
Okay.
to become a jeweler, goldsmith. And I went and worked there for 4 years under an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
And I got taught by a great man. Eric Crable was his name. And he was a master jeweler. And after that, Edmunds Jewelers opened up their store in Fashion Fair. And so as soon as the store was opened up, I moved to that store and started running the repair department and stuff like that.
I was telling you before the show, I remember my mom going to Manchester Center and getting a ring repaired, and I think it was Edmunds. I'm sure, because that was the...
Actually, we were in Fashion Fair.
It was Fashion Fair.
Yeah, Fashion Fair.
Fashion
Yeah.
Fair,
Uh-huh.
that's right.
Uh-huh. That's okay.
So it was Fashion Fair, and I remember going in and getting a ring repaired and doing that, and Edmunds was it was a big staple, big name.
Big name.
here
big
in the
name.
Valley.
Yeah, we did a lot.
A lot there. So that's where you cut your teeth. So you cut your
Yes.
teeth there and doing jewelry repair. Is that your
Yes.
expertise?
That's what we do everything. We do custom. I do custom work and jewelry repair and diamond setting, little everything.
And right
That's what I learned.
downtown Clovis.
Yeah.
Right downtown. And now 30 years, you just had that celebration.
30 years has just passed now, and so now I pretty much just more like promote and run the store, and I have another jeweler who sits down and does the repair work now.
Does the repair work?
Yeah.
Cool. And so you got an apprentice that you trained in.
It's there in a way, yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
Brought it up.
Uh-huh.
When you hit that 30-year mark just weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean to you? Again, after 30 years of doing this.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to retire, but that's not going to happen because I enjoy working in my job.
You enjoy
So
it.
I really like the people. And the people of Clovis are just great people. Now we got them coming from all over. We got them from out of town. We have them from Sanger and Selma and Fowler and Hanford and Madeira. So they're actually coming over and finding us.
I'm finding
So
it.
it's working out really good.
Good to-
So we're so busy.
And Clovis is a community that really embraces their small business people. They've done a really good job with that. And being downtown Clovis, I know that's something special to you.
Yes.
And being involved with downtown.
Yes.
What were you always when you started your business in Clovis?
Yes, I've always
The
been in
whole
Clovis.
time.
Yeah, I've always been in Clovis in two different places, one for 10 years and then one for where I'm at right now for 20.
For 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And through those years, you've seen it change and it grow in a big way.
A lot of new businesses have come in and a lot of them have gone and great people. Just
Yeah.
nice people there.
What's your secret? 30 years in this business. It's a tough business. There's a lot of competition out there.
Yes. I think what I've learned is to be good to your customer, to take care of your customer, and to make sure when they walk out, they're happy.
Yeah.
And if we have to bend over and do something special for them to help them out and stuff like that, we go and do that.
Bend over backwards for them.
That's right. To definitely do that and just to keep them happy.
Keep 'em
Because
happy.
sometimes we end up doing a job for free or whatever, and it doesn't matter because our customers will come back to us because of what we do for them.
And they'll tell everybody about it.
They do. They
Yeah.
tell everybody, and that's what we really like, is word of mouth is the best.
And when you do terrible customer service, they tell people even more.
Even more, even more. So we try to never do that.
Never do
so.
that. Yeah. So 30 years of success and,
Yep.
and having a good team.
Yes.
It sounds like you've built a good team of people over
Yes,
the years.
we have.
And yeah.
We have. Some great people right now.
Yeah. And a lot of times you can't do it all by yourself.
No.
And putting that together. And you got to have really good people that will get in there and learn all the different areas of the business and
Right.
put it together. And I tell young people all the time that talk about, I want to start a business. Starting a business is not for the faint of heart.
No.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work and a lot of money. You got to save your money, and it takes a while for a few years before you even start making money.
Yeah,
So, but once you start making, you got to keep it.
you got to keep it.
Yeah.
Because there's a called the rainy day fund.
That's
'cause
right.
You never know when
Exactly.
it's going to rain.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you're right. Uh-huh.
So Bruce Jackson, Jackson Jewelers, downtown Clovis.
Mm-hmm.
And where would they find you downtown Clovis?
We're right in the corner of 5th and Pulaski.
5th and Pulaski.
Yep, right on the corner.
Want to talk to you when we come back from the commercial a little bit about growing up
Okay.
here in the valley, going to McLean, and before you led yourself to Jackson Jewelers. And we'll be right back with more business leaders. Make sure you go to businessleaders.tv and see each episode every week. We'll talk to you soon. Welcome back to Business Leaders. I'm Lance Cardoza, and we want to make sure you join us each and every week, Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m., and go to businessleaders.tv and catch this episode and other episodes. Again, I'd like to thank Flooring Liquidators for making all these episodes possible here on Business Leaders. In the studio here at KMPH Fox 26, Bruce Jackson, Jackson Jewelers. Happy anniversary, 30 years of Jackson Jewelers.
Thank you.
In downtown Clovis. And Clovis is just a fun downtown. There's always something going on down there.
Always. We always got something going on. The people down there are really always have something every weekend almost.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking and watching, you'll see something different every weekend.
Every week.
Yeah.
Pandemic, because that was very tough on a lot of people. And we're coming out of that, and people were just itching to get out and do a lot of stuff. Clovis got going a little early with some stuff outside, but now it just seems like people are just dying to get out there and enjoy a lot of those festivities in Clovis.
Yes, they are. Definitely. We got a lot of things going on. We have Big Hat Weekend coming up this weekend, and there's just a lot of things that our people around all the businesses and stuff really get into it.
They get into it,
Yeah.
and I think you get people from all over.
Yes.
All over
Yes.
the place.
Yes.
And you advertise here on KMPH Fox
Yes.
26. You
Of
have people
course.
come in and tell you all the time, like, hey, Bruce.
I seen you on TV.
Seen you on
Bruce.
TV,
And I
Bruce.
said, yeah, my jeweler's on TV. I go, well, thank you.
That's
They said you don't look so good, but that's all right. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, not everybody can be like Kobe. And
That's right. That's right.
50 years in the business, he
That's
still
right.
looks the same.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, with you were talking about a good team, building a good team, and it translates to the customer. If the team is happy and the team is properly treating the customer walks away with a real good experience. What built that into you? I'm sure working at Edmunds, but what built that into you to take that to your business?
Yeah. Well, when I started with Edmunds, I watched the Mrs. Edmunds when she was out and promoting and stuff in the store. Even though I was just a jeweler, I was always watching her and picking up little extra things that she would do. And I noticed how she treated her customers. And so I've just taken all that in from all the years I've been doing mine and tried to use that same idea of making sure all my customers are happy and we've taken care of them and want to come back.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been doing all these years, kind of just helping all my customers.
And
my people who work for me,
yeah.
they also are trained the same way, and they're also doing the same thing. So they make sure that their customers come back, and if they have their individual customers that come in, and they're looking for them. And that's great. I love it because then it means they're taking care of them.
Yeah, and it tells you people buy from people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's not necessarily they're just buying the product or the new thing.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times they need somebody that they trust, a jeweler that they trust, and maybe they've gone to you to repair something, and you repaired something that maybe they thought was impossible, and they'll come back and bring you business time and time again because they trust you.
Yes, they
Yeah.
definitely do that. And we pretty much take on every little job we can, and we know we can take care of, and when we finish it for them, they just love it, so they're happy.
Give me a story. You probably can think of one where you had somebody bring in a piece where you thought that's just going to be impossible.
Yeah, there's been a few pieces in the years that we've done before, and offhand I can't think of one that we did, but there's all kinds that come in, and there's been a couple people that have actually brought rings in that they've actually ran over with in their car.
Oh,
And so the stone is over here, the ring is over here, the diamonds are over here. And so they said, we need a new one. We need you to fix it up.
yeah.
And so we've done that before, where we've actually put everything back together. Sometimes we've had to make a new ring and do it, but exact same ring. We'd always make sure it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Or we are able to put the ring back together and put it all together for the customer
And put it
to get them
together.
happy. And that's really makes them happy. That's
Yeah.
something they usually don't think you can do this when they come in with something that's just crushed and
Yeah.
flattened.
Yeah, and it's special to them. It had a
Very
special
special.
meaning when they got it.
Yeah.
And they're leaning on you to bring back that special that feeling that they had
And we make
when
sure
they first received it.
We make sure that when they bring something in, we know that piece is special to them already.
Yeah.
And so we make sure when we treat it, fix it, whatever we do to it, we give that tender love and care.
Perfect. Being raised here in the Valley
Uh-huh.
and growing up here in the Valley, what would you say? Because a lot of people say here in the Valley, young kids, you'll see boomerangers. They leave and then they come back to the area because it's a great place to raise a family. What are the staples to you here in the Valley, especially being a business owner? What do you feel?
There people do come back and leave. I've been here all my life. So
Yeah.
I've been in Fresno, raised in Fresno and Clovis.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of stuff, so I did a lot of school stuff where I sports and things like that. I played a lot of baseball. And then as I got a little bit older, I started playing softball in the city leagues and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I met a lot of people.
And
so-
your connection, to put your roots in the Valley.
That helped me a lot with my customers. When I started my business, I met all these people outside, and that's where I started promoting. And that's when I got these people come around and see what Bruce does for a living.
Yeah.
And so,
Because you were already ingrained in the community with the
Yes.
sports that you played
Yes.
and getting involved there and doing that.
so
That's what I tell a lot of people too. When you play a sport and you work in business, they really go hand in hand.
yes, they do.
There's a team playing effort, but there's also that drive to win,
Yes.
and
Always.
and be able to work with somebody else too.
Mm-hmm.
Because without the pitcher or the catcher or the quarterback and the receiver,
Uh-huh.
you're going to have some problems.
I do a lot of golfing too.
Yeah.
And that's this valley is made for golf.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my customers are old golfers, and things like that that I meet, and I make sure that everybody I meet, I make sure they know who I am, and I like to always give them a business card. So
That's better. You do a lot of business on the golf course.
Do a lot of business on the golf course. I try to, and I always pass out a card. I make sure everybody knows that, and my employees also do the same thing.
Bruce, we're going to be right back. We take a short break. Okay. Bruce Jackson with Jackson Jewelers in downtown Clovis. Don't go away. More Business Leaders. Welcome back to Business Leaders here at KMPH Fox 26. Sitting here with Bruce Jackson, Jackson Jewelers, 30 years of Jackson Jewelers in downtown Clovis. It's sort of surreal when you think about it. It was April 1st.
It's just April 1st, not too long, just a little bit back here, so we're doing fine.
And in 30 years, it just goes by fast, when you're having fun.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So with your business in 30 years, people have come back for many things, and some of the things they might not even know that you might be able to offer to them, but we're talking about refurbishing jewelry.
Yes.
That tell me about that and how that works. If someone at home watching here on KMPH Fox 26 goes, oh, refurbished jewelry, tell me about that, because I'm sure there's a lady there watching right now that's like, I want to run down there and see Bruce.
Yes. Yeah, what we do is we tell a lot of our customers to bring their jewelry in, because a lot of them like us to fabricate new jewelry with their old jewelry and stuff.
Yeah.
So they like us, they come in, and so what we do is we'll sit down and we'll show them some ideas, some new modern stuff that we do with the jewelry, and so they usually will bring it in and say, here's our goods right here, make me something. And then we'll design a nice piece for them, and after we design it, then we will fabricate it. And put it all together and do the wax. Sometimes they'll do a wax casting, and then we'll take their diamonds or jewels and we'll set them into a new mounting. And they just love it, and that's what keeps them going. And then a lot of our customers just come in and we just refurbish their rings, and we can make them look like new again.
Brand
and
new.
make sure we have to check the prongs on their stones and things like that to make them safe, and they can feel good about wearing them and stuff.
Wearing it again.
So we try to tell our customers to come in every 5 to 6 months and let us check them.
Okay.
And we clean them for no charge, and we make sure we make them look like brand new when they leave.
Wow.
And there's no charge to do that. We just like that and make sure their rings are in good shape.
Good shape. And you probably sold them the original ring in the first place.
A lot of times we did.
Sure,
A lot of times we did. Actually, what we've done, we did a lot of class rings when we first opened up our business. We don't really do them anymore, but the people that we sold class rings for their kids, the kids are now coming up, and I'm selling them jewelry and rings and stuff, and it's like, wow. And they'll bring up their name, and I'll say, oh my gosh, I know who you are. I remember you.
I remember you when you were back in grade school.
Grade school. So that's very fun. That makes it really fun stuff.
Yeah, and you get to see them. They have their own families now, and coming in and bringing their families in with doing the jewelry. You were talking about refurbishing, like with a ring that has coloring in it too. So they'll do the repaint, the refurbish the whole thing like a car.
Well, there's not so much car, like the stones. There might be colored stones and things like that in there. Most of the stuff is just your jewelry will be white gold, yellow gold, platinum, and things like that. And we can just refurbish it like that. We don't usually use too much paint or anything on the rings anymore. It's old style stuff. So
how do you when you do that? You were talking about design, and you're doing a custom piece. So it's just like if you were to CAD draw something for a client building something, it's the same thing in designing that piece.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We will sit down with them and we'll see what they're working with, what their want us to do, and we'll design something. We'll draw pictures.
Yeah.
And something real simple. We'll draw pictures, and then pretty soon we'll put those pictures into a wax. And we'll make a wax for the customer. Most of the times the customer will come back in and they'll look at that wax and see if that's what they want, and before we cast the ring up. And that makes it so much easier because we can, we won't you don't have to redo the ring or something later on. We could redo it in a wax so easy.
Yeah.
And then when they get the okay and they love it, then we cast it.
Yeah, and they can
put it
visualize
together.
it.
And they can visualize, they see it, what
They
we've
see it,
done.
yeah,
So
they
it
see
makes
what
so
you do.
much easier, yeah.
So much easier. When you grew up here in the Valley, and we're talking with Bruce Jackson, Bruce Jewelers, 30 years in Clovis. Growing up in Valley, sports were important to you. McLean and playing. What was your favorite sport? Just
I was a
curious.
baseball player.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
baseball.
baseball.
What position did you play?
I usually played infield. I usually was a second baseman or
Oh, okay.
third baseman or something like that.
So you're quick on your feet.
Yep.
Good deal.
Gotta be ready.
Gotta be ready.
Yeah.
And then you played that all through high school?
Yes.
Yeah. You met a lot of good people through those, and like you were saying, the good people were coming back and coming to your store today,
Yes.
and
yes.
And their families and
We
celebrating.
see
30
more of the
years.
family. We see more of the families coming in, you know.
Yeah,
So yes.
coming in now. The where do you see the business going? You said it's not time to retire. You enjoy what you do. Where do you see this business going in the next 10, 15,
You
20
know,
years?
who knows? We love it. So the people that work for me right now just love what they're doing, their job, and they enjoy doing it. So we're just going to do it until we decide we can't do it anymore.
Till the cows come home.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's
just keep-
exactly it.
Just
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Yes.
The 30 years, Jackson Jewelers, where do they find you downtown Clovis?
Where they find me, they'll find me right on the corner of 5th and Pulaski.
5th and Pulaski.
Yes.
You're in the epicenter of downtown Clovis.
Right in the middle. We're in the best spot in town,
Awesome.
I believe.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
When you have a customer, because I know it's important to you, that walks out of your store in a custom piece, and you see that joy, what is it for you that motivates you because you nailed it, you accomplished it?
We enjoy doing something like that because they show all their friends.
Yeah.
That's what we really like is when they come in, they show all their friends what we've done for them. Sometimes we'll take pictures ourselves
Yeah.
and keep them around and stuff like that. But they mainly will go out as soon as they walk out and they love their ring. They're showing it to everybody else.
They're showing it to
And
everybody
that's
else.
what works for us.
And you love it when people come in and say, "Hey, I saw her piece, and
Yes.
can you do
Yes.
something like that for me?"
Yes, exactly. That's what we do. Yes.
Bruce, thank you for being on my program. I
Lance, thank
appreciate
you.
it. 30 years, Jackson Jewelers. You got to go down and check them out. Downtown Clovis at Pulaski and 5th Street.
5th Street.
That's all the time we have for Business Leaders. We'll catch you here Tuesday at 11 a.m.